Here's the tech heroes of tomorrow helping you to relieve friction and break down barriers and have a better life. Hi, I'm Warren Whitlock, and this is Emerging Technology with Warren. Today, we're going to talk about a topic I love to look at in any kind of project I'm taking on. And since most everything I do is related to emerging technology, it almost always fits. And I find that if you apply this methodology to thinking about just about any process you're working on, you can make life better for you and for the people around you. There's two terms here. There was a book written called Nudge that came out about 20 years ago. Great book by Thaler and Sunstein. It discusses how we can set up a process to make it easier for people to make the right choices or make the choices they want, but show them how it's easy to make a default choice that is going to work out best for them. A classic example of this is that you're working for an employer who offers you 3 different kinds of healthcare. And one of those is best for most people. And they make the process so that the default is if you don't elect to choose your healthcare plan, you get that one. You're nudged into doing the right thing. When you're checking out at a big e-commerce site, they make it very easy to buy, very easy to buy more and upgrade as while you're checking out. That's nudging. There's another word that goes with it, sludge, which is what I've started to use to talk about what I used to call friction. But sludge I like because sludge rhymes with nudge, is quite the opposite. And it's things that are put into a system that slow things down. And we've heard about planned obsolescence. We've heard about systems that are over bureaucratic that just really screw up our lives. And quite often, hey, did somebody purposely go out to make my life more difficult? And for me, I see that in healthcare in spades. In the US, it's 20% of the economy. We spend more money as a percentage of the economy and more money total than any other country on earth. And we don't have the best health. Why? Because there's just so much sludge. And it's estimated to be, sometimes referred to it as the paperwork, 55% of every healthcare dollar is spent on the paperwork. And so many things objected to that. And it comes from the idea of some things are scarce, and so you have to put some kind of restriction how to use it. Even in a system where it's a national healthcare system and anybody can go see a doctor and get any care that they need, there's got to be some kind of restrictions. There's new procedures that are experimental or limited availability or just really expensive to provide. And there's got to be some kind of restrictions. And then there's always a panel that chooses that. And then the biggest restriction is time. If you try to get an appointment, you have to wait. But once you get an appointment, you wait forever to get in to see the doctor. And so the thought came to me, and what I wanted to share with you today was how, if we eliminated that, how much better our lives would be. If when I need to see a doctor, I could pull up an app on my phone, tap the right things, the insurance or whatever paying for it would have been taken care of already, or maybe not. Maybe having some prices on things that are easy to see in healthcare might actually help. But at any rate, however it's getting paid for, the make an appointment, the getting in to see the doctor would be a kind of thing like trying to get a seat in a busy restaurant. They figure out a way to handle it. Again, sometimes by price, sometimes by rationing, but the good ones always figure out to take care of everybody that really wants to be seen or eat or go to a concert. They make tickets that cost different prices for the same venue, sometimes better seats, sometimes they change. The secondary market takes care of that, where you buy a ticket to a show, it's sold out, you go ahead and pay somebody who bought some tickets and then upgrades them. That can be scalping, or that can be a legal procedure, or that could be part of the tickets. There's a lot of different ways to set things up to take care of the rationing when scarcity needs to be there. But what about when it doesn't? What happens when we start using advanced technology, any of these emerging technologies, to eliminate the wait and eliminate the scarcity and make it available for all? Let's take a look at what's happened with the Moore's Law applied to the human genome. You can figure out what the 23andMe story was always, that you could send in a sample and they'd come back and tell you what your ancestry was and whether or not there was a life-threatening disease that they detected. And they wanted people to do it. They wanted more people. The market forces went to work very well. But 25 years ago, when the first human genomes were coming out, it was $1 billion per genome that got analyzed, for the billions of data points that come out of that. Now it's down to where it's much less. It went down to being $1 million, $100,000, $10,000, $1,000, and 100. And conceivably, it seems to be that every person on Earth who can do as little as giving blood, or maybe just a swab of something, some of your DNA, and all this information can come from that, and it will be so cheap as to be considered like free. When we start doing things like that, apply that to every part of healthcare, wow, costs come down. And now 2 incentives work out. One, people want to sell more of it because it's readily available. It's now a mass commodity instead of a limited resource. And we've eliminated the hurdles to make it so that we can produce as much as we need using technology. Let's look at AI. It's just looking at UiPath as a robot assistant for getting things done. I've seen a bunch of these that are working. I don't endorse any of them in particular. I've got chatbots running on various services that I want to know about. I've talked about them here before, but it's still somewhat early days for adoption of AI agents. But right now, if I need to know something about a topic, if it's been emailed to me, my AI running my email will be able to look it up and tell me about it. For instance, I've subscribed to something, but I've used a different email than I normally use, and I want to make sure my alternate email is considered in that, which one I need to figure out, or which way I paid for a subscription to something, all can be taken care of by my assistant. They can figure that out, tell me how to get done what I need to get done, just based on my own information. I'm broadening that to have a lot more things that it can do, shopping and whatnot. All the shopping is set up to give you as much choice as possible. But in other behavioral economic studies like Nudge, they come up with things that say it would be much easier if you had less choices. And what you really want is an AI that knows you well enough to give you choice. You can always go around it and try something new, but you know what you want and it figures out how to get it. The data that we have today allows that. I know a lot of people complain about every time they open up their phone, there's an ad for something, or if they look at something at an e-commerce site, they start getting ads for that same item. I was once plagued by stool ads. I had moved. We needed a step stool in the house. We'd had one years before. I knew exactly what kind of step stool I needed and figured it would be a cheap item. Boy, it wasn't. A good step stool was costing 4 or 5 times what I thought, still only a few dollars. So I looked at a couple of places just to make sure I hadn't misspecified, because step stool is something I bought maybe twice in my life. And sure enough, the price on Amazon was good enough, and I keeps track of everything. So I went back and bought it on Amazon. The other company that I visited their site, they decided I needed more information on step stools and step stool related products. And I heard from them for 6 months. I think I liked it though. I liked knowing that my computer and the system, the internet, knew enough about me to give me something that I needed. It was a mistake with the step stools, just pointing out to me how close that system was, because if I'd not been getting the step stool ad, what would I have been getting an ad for? Some product I don't use? It makes sense to try to customize things, and AI is going to allow that to happen down to, hey, we saw this special come in, you got an email about it, you buy that all the time. One I just used yesterday was I was looking to get food delivered. I buy my groceries online. I also go out to restaurants and I go to stores. But last night, what I wanted was to get a restaurant to send me something. I know I get offers all the time. And so I asked my AI to check my email to find out who was giving me a discount code. And it came back with a lot of discount codes for groceries. I don't do grocery shopping when I just need some prepared food to eat. So I had to tell my AI I wanted something else. It came back and told me just the restaurant to go to get a discount. And turned out it also recommended a sandwich that I don't normally buy. It was something like what I normally buy, and it had some customization and a couple of clicks. I'm going like, wow, I had a delicious dinner last night that I didn't expect. And that's when you get the AI smart helpers working along with the data. We know about Netflix. They're known for taking all of the stuff that you do, all the clicks you make and the movies you watch, what you mark. They used to have a 1 through 5 rating system. They found out that it worked better with likes. Just, yes, you like it. I think you can like it and super like it or love something. And I put attention in that because I wanted to recommend things that are like what I like watching, but a little bit different. I just used a different way to do that. I put the data into a AI chatbot and asked for recommendation, a certain kind of sitcom that I like to binge. And I said, have I seen them all? And I said, give me the top sitcoms. And it gave me a list of this certain variety. It gave me a list of 10. And I said, oh gosh, I've seen 8 of the 10. And I don't know about the other one. I might watch it sometime. And one I just didn't want to see. And like, give me some more. This time, give me the ones that were produced in Great Britain. And boy, I found out 4 or 5 new ones that I had never heard of that were just like the ones that I enjoyed before. And so I watched several episodes last night. Yeah, it was fun. What about when we get that UI better and reduce the friction of having to scroll through a lot of options and pick them? I want my AI to be able to communicate with the Netflix AI, tell it my preferences, what I'm looking for. Let me use natural language instead of an actor's name or a movie title name. I know that one director and one actor made several films together. Have I seen them all? And have it go out and do that research. And that's what's coming. That will be available. There's the sludge when I'm using Netflix appears to be that they can't get rid of the things I've already seen in a search. I believe some of that is a false kind of scarcity. I can't imagine where there's a cost that's different if I watched movie A or movie B. If I'm using up minutes and hours watching Netflix, the subscription is paid for and the technology takes the same amount of effort to show one movie over another. I think the variety keeps it interesting, and showing slides of the covers of the movie or whatever, ads for the things I've just seen, it just doesn't make sense unless I want to go back and see, hey, I want to find that movie I liked so much about 10 years ago as this actor or this director, and it goes and looks that up. That'd be a different kind of a search. But most of the time, you're scrolling through, wouldn't it be better if you didn't see that stuff? And that's what sludge and getting rid of sludge is. How do we use that in our own lives and our own businesses? Take a look at the processes, the things that are happening for your customers and your competitors' customers. It's an industry standard. And look at how you can bypass that and make it simpler. The Dollar Shave Club story is that they found out that the number of blades on a razor was increasing, and what are we going to wind up with 40 blades for a razor blade? And now this doesn't make sense. Why don't we make something simple? Why don't we make something we can sell for $1? We can put on a subscription. That was a highly profitable model because they cut through the clutter of having to decide anything about it and just put out a product that most people wanted most of the time. So if you make things easy, if you don't put the sludge on purpose, and you consider that in the age of abundance we have coming will be unlimited to what you can do along these lines. So I think the future of business and future, if you're looking for a career, to be working on things that can eliminate the sludge from your life and other people's life, and we'll all do less work, get more, and be happy. What more could you ask for? That's why it's important to eliminate sludge. This has been Emerging Technology with Warren. Come back for other episodes. We have a YouTube channel. We have this available on audio, wherever you get your podcast. And please subscribe and share this, because that helps me get the word out as I'm trying to educate people about the great advances that are coming from the emerging technologies.